the satellites explode. It must be bad news overload. Then we salute eternity and pay our final bill. This is the end of the world. 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 You should do what's right. And stay out of the fight for as long as you can. This is just the beginning, 'cause nothing ever really ends. This is the end of the world. This is the end of the world. I hear the
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Environmental Coffeehouse. I see we have a full house, and Karen Tracy is with me, singing way, Aka. People are joining, Aka, also known as. We have been planning this forever, and it's just great to have her with me. I am so excited. We have been so excited over this. Solar Tony, hello. Kim, thank you for moderating. Looney Tunes is here moderating, but he's got to participate. You've all got to participate. I put the link at the top for the materials for the PDF, or you can go to the community page if you can open two screens. Karen's going to do a wonderful training. Karen is amazing. Karen has a beautiful voice. She sings. She does kung fu since she was young. She's just interesting, dynamic, and alive. And where did she go? She
I had
went
to go
away.
close the door.
Oh,
There
she's
was noise in the hallway.
Oh gosh, yes. See, academic. Melanie Dennis. Hi, Lindsay Robb. Karen Reese. I don't want to miss anybody. Hi, Warren, sweetheart, and Veg and Tony. All right, we got a good group here. Wait, I missed somebody. So
Excellent.
Tim Benford and Mary Sue
The
Menier.
minor.
Oh, Geminer.
Geminer.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Hi. Well, welcome, welcome. I am Sandy Schoelles.
Talk
So
about a.
I
Mhm.
am going to now turn it over to our hostess, really, because she's going to be giving us the training. Hi.
Okay.
Right?
So I am so thrilled to see everyone here. You are participating in something new and as yet sort of untried because although I've led this many times in many places and at many different numbers of people, all the way from 4 people all the way up to 160 people, um, online and in person, this is new because the stakeholder groups are going to participate in the chat.
Yep.
So for that, you will be assigned stakeholder groups by your birth month. Right before we do that, though, I'm going to show you the Climate Solutions Simulator. This is what we're going to be using as a tool for the game. Now, there is really good research that gaming is a very effective way to explore outside of your normal box.
Hmm.
So, outside of the normal way you look at things, you get to empathize with other points of view. You get to see it's really good for conflict resolution and for just understanding how other people look at things. So, for instance, if you get assigned to land forestry and agriculture, you would have to think like a farmer or a forester, and you would think, what would that sector what policies would they want? What policies would they support? And which would they totally oppose? Um, so, and what I'm going to ask you to do is when you are commenting as your stakeholder group, put the abbreviation for that group before your comment. That way, Sandy, it'll be easy. It'll be easy for her to see it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if you're commenting just as yourself, then you don't do that. Just put your comment. But for instance, if I was going to comment as the clean tech group, I would put CT and then my comment.
Okay. I just want to
Okay.
tell the chat I had to slow mode it so that I could keep up with everything. And one person said something about the song, the opening song. Karen loved it. So I made it up, and it's actually all how you take it, everybody. You know, it really is. It
Yeah.
not is necessarily negative. It's necessarily reality. So here we go. Okay, let me change our screen then, right? Are we ready to do that? And I can show the stuff. Do you want me to put up the PDF first? Or do you want to go right to your screen share? All right, here we are. Here we are, guys.
Now, I think, don't I have to go to the screen share? Like, can you see it move
Yep.
right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
seeing it move?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
good. All right.
We're seeing it. Yep.
So what we're looking at here, I know now some people's brains just love graphs and charts, and other people's brains just look at it and go, "Oh no, that looks hard." So I kind of have a brain that it looks hard to me. I kind of hate graphs and charts, and that's why part of my work is presenting climate science in hands-on, experiential ways. And maybe at another meeting, I can show you all the different creative, fun ways that I've developed to share those things.
Great.
But with this was developed as a tool for international negotiations because our presidents were saying, when I'm in international negotiations and I ask you, what would the effect be if we electrified our transport? Would that really have any effect on the global temperature of the planet? Um, so this isn't what we're looking at here is an interface in front of vast amounts of data behind it.
Yeah.
So this is an interface. This is a tool that allows us to access that in a way that makes sense and in a way that can be usable for international negotiations and to get answers in real time. Really quickly. Does 14,000 calculations per second, and it is drawing on observed data and reports. And on the website you can investigate where this data comes from, and also we can investigate, I'll show you as we go along, what we're looking at here is the surface, and we can also step behind it and look at the assumptions and change some of those assumptions. For instance, if we say we want to see the effect of electrification, so I'm going to move it up, or electrifying our transport, what's going to happen? And what we see is this is the temperature of the planet, 3.3 C, up 3.3 C in 80 years, so by the end of the century in 2100, and 6 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. What we're seeing right here, this line is our current trajectory, which means really we're on track to arrive at this.
Pretty
Um,
scary. Pretty scary.
Yeah. And you'll see this tiny little blip right here,
Mm-hmm.
of course, this tiny little blip. Do you see when that was?
Yep.
Yep. So anybody guess what that is? I'm looking over here.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you can look at the chat. Anybody guess what happened in 2020 that would give it a blip going down? We talk about it all the time.
That then
Jennifer and I do.
rapidly went back on track.
Yep. We got the good old COVID. Yep.
Right. So that helped right then. And so you see it actually made a visible effect. But then we got right back on track with going up, up, up. So En-ROADS is a global climate simulator. It allows anyone, and it's free online. You can explore it. The trouble is if you go in and explore it yourself, some people go in and they move all the sliders and they go, oh,
They don't know.
it's easy. It's easy to solve climate change because they're not getting into the discussion and the depth of what actually those actions mean. So that's why it's great that you're here. So it allows you to explore the policies, for instance, electrifying transport, pricing carbon. I'm going to move these. Improving our agricultural practices, which are hidden under this one. If I open these little dots, you'll see it opens up a description of what that category means. So this one is where the agribusiness versus regenerative farming is kind of hidden under this section. Not hidden, but this is the section open up to change some of these assumptions. So you might say, how soon could we change to more regenerative farming? Or how soon could we even get the agribusiness to cover the soil instead of leaving it open so that it would sequester carbon instead of releasing it? And we say, well, we could do that this year, or maybe we could do it next year, maybe 5 years, who knows? So you'll see that if you choose to change those assumptions, your answer up here will change. Okay. And you can also explore temperature, air quality, sea level rise. We have other graphs and charts up here. We have impact graphs, which will show the temperature change and species loss. So just with the actions that we did right here, this is the effect on species loss. It's actually, we would see an improvement from 50% to 18% of invertebrate loss by the end of the century. So in 80 years. And I'm not gonna go through that detail because I want you to see the results of your choices. So I'm gonna reset everything now. I'm resetting all the graphs. Let's see, reset. Oh yeah. Though that replays the last one. Let's reset them. Yep. So now it keeps going. It's showing the effect of the actions that we took. All right. One more thing is that En-ROADS stands for Energy, Rapid Overview, and Decision Support. So it gives you a rapid overview of where our energy comes from. And if we manipulate how we use our energy and what choices we make, it gives you a rapid overview of the effects of that. And it also is decision support. That's what it was made for. It was made for policymakers to use it to make good decisions, better decisions. And I would say, and the training is free. It's about 12 hours to be trained, although most of us who are trained just keep going because we want to explore deeper and see more of what this fantastic tool can do. But the training is live through Climate Interactive, or it's also on YouTube. You can watch past ones. So I'm just going to scroll down here. Are you seeing the En-ROAD stakeholder briefs right now? Are you seeing?
No, would you like me to pull them up?
Oh, when I
Now I'm going to
shared my
screen.
whole screen.
Well, I
Okay.
have your whole screen is up, but did you want me to put the PDF up?
If you can't see them right now, I thought I was bringing them up.
The PDF? No,
Are
that
you still
didn't come
seeing
up.
En-ROAD's simulator? Okay.
Yes. We didn't see the PDF. I
But you
don't
did but you did see it move, right? Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All
You're
right, good.
interactive on there. I just don't have the PDF up. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? The materials that are pinned and you can see it in the community page.
Okay, but I don't think we need that because I'm just going to
Okay.
take it one at a time.
I'm
So
sitting back.
here, so here's the simulator. Let's see. I wonder if I should, I kind of want to see what you're seeing. Oh, okay, great. You're seeing that. You're not seeing all my tabs.
No.
Although you are kind of seeing, all right. I see it.
It's
All
the
right.
first time we've done this, guys. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, it's a new
learning
thing.
experience for many things.
Yeah. All right. So the first group is the industry and commerce. So if your birthday is in January or February, you will put IC in front of any comments you make from the industry and commerce point of view.
Okay.
So I would like to say, here I am, the United Nations Secretary General, and I've invited all of these stakeholder groups to this special meeting, this emergency session, because we have not seen enough climate action, and we want to see the results of human action. We need more commitments. We need more discussion. We need more proposals from you, from your stakeholder groups. So we are calling on industry and commerce first. So if your birthday is in January and February, I'd like you to post comments that tell me which sliders, which categories do you think industry and commerce would like to move. So, and then Sandy will read them and
And put them up on the screen.
somebody said, "What are we doing here?"
It's
Okay.
a
I will answer that.
training.
I don't know when that came through, but
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Is that-
Poppy. We're doing a training, Poppy, if you read everything. Okay, so
We are proposing human actions which can have a positive effect on the climate. So, industry and commerce during this negotiation, what would you like to see? What would you like to try first? And I guess, Sandy, just see which ones are more common. If somebody, different people say the same thing 3 times, then that's the slider I will choose.
all right. Well, so far I'm not getting too much. All right, what birthday are we on?
January and February.
All right. So anybody out there, January and February babies, what would you choose if you could to see any changes? I think we have a very quiet chat.
Oh, no, we count on you guys to participate.
Yeah, we
You gotta
needed.
participate. All right, I'll say if you are born in any month and you want
Yeah.
to comment with industry and commerce,
All right,
what?
Old Sage Joe picked renewables.
Okay.
So make your choice and see what happens with that.
All right. Now, before I move it, I'm gonna push it far, like almost all the way. So I'm gonna subsidize renewables. That'll be the tool we use. And I want you to think in your head, how many tenths of a point do you think we're going to get out of it? So we're at 3.3C, which is pretty deadly. How many tenths of a point do you think if we just boosted renewables to almost the max? So think in your head and maybe say it in the chat if you can. Come on. What I do
Right.
with college kids, they have to they have to participate for their grade. So that's
Right.
pretty.
The kids
So
do. All right.
CJ,
I think
Climate Justice Hawks. Okay. I see. Transport electrification. Okay, I see that. All
I see
right.
that. Well, I am
All
keeping.
right. We're going to move 2 then. We're going to move renewables and we'll see how many we get. Okay. So here I'm going to replay it. We got 2/10.
Heidi wants to know what's the question again.
The question is, if you were an industry and commerce stakeholder group, which of these policies would you like to see action on? Which would you
Right.
support? So I'm saying, so industry and commerce decided to support renewables, and I'm also seeing the electrification of transportation. So I'm going to move that. So we've got 3.1 and 5.5 Fahrenheit, if you look over here, and let's see what happens. Okay. So let's replay that last one. We went from 1 to 0. And as you see, I'm going to replay it again. Check out this. Our entire use of energy went down. So as you see, this is the total amount of energy in use. But if we electrified somewhat, and we still
Yeah.
haven't, and we also boosted renewables first, which means that our total energy use went down a little. All right, so we're at 3.0. Now I'm going to call on the second stakeholder group, which is land, forestry, and agriculture. And remember, I'll describe a little in your stakeholder group. You grow food for an increasing world population. You
Yeah.
have ways to reduce methane emissions by proven strategies. You have regenerative methods, you have rotational grazing, you have improved soil management practices to maximize soil carbon sequestration. You have
Yeah,
local
which
food
people are doing
distribution
here.
networks. What?
People are doing that here in my
Yeah,
community.
yeah. You have local food distribution networks like farmers markets, and you have protection of indigenous lands, forest management, and family farms. So you know these things. This technology is there. However, within your sector, money and influence is concentrated in the large landholders of agribusiness.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and their methods of factory farming are entirely dependent on fossil fuels. And subsidies make agribusiness financially sustainable. And they also control the ag departments of colleges. So let's see what you in the land, forestry, and agriculture might be able to with those two parts in your, remember you have conflict within your stakeholder group, but which of these policies might you be able to support? So somebody comment in the chat, say LFA, and then say which of these sliders you would choose. So this one is stopping deforestation. This is moving toward more regenerative farming practices. This would be planting more trees. This
Yeah.
would be carbon pricing, retiring old coal plants over here. Are you able to see my
Yes. Yep,
cursor?
they can
Okay.
see it. They
Okay.
sure can.
Just always keep checking. All right. So are you getting any answers in the chat yet?
It's a tough
72
chat.
people here and only 45 likes. Like.
No, it's a tough chat. Let's see. Mindy, population numbers are fluid, unintended, unforeseen things like natural disasters. I don't know. All right. Debbie had said reduce manufacturing of fertilizer from natural gas. But Deb, all right.
Okay, so that well,
I
we
think
can
we're
put that
not going to
under
be.
here.
I don't know if everybody's going to go through this with their birthday. Trying, guys. Something different.
It's okay. I think maybe we can just take the participants who are willing to participate.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing it by birthday, but we can just do it by anybody.
So, how about people volunteer to be in a group? You name the groups off again.
Well, we're going through them one at a time. So
Okay.
right now we're in land, forestry, and agriculture. So if you want to answer from that point of view,
So
go
we're
right
away
ahead.
from the industrial one then.
Yes, industry and commerce is over for now.
All right.
Now, in our
The bad
international
guys.
negotiation, we have the stakeholder groups. So so I'm going to replay that. So land, forestry, and agriculture decided to reduce the amount of methane and other gases in their farming practices. So we got
It's my favorite.
3/10 out of that, and quite a bit here. In you see that from 4.8, we got from
Yeah.
5.5 to 4.8 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, imagine.
Now,
Imagine.
remember the goal. The safer goal is 1.5 C. And I know if Jim McHenry were here, he would explain how.
Yeah, I don't
these
know where
numbers-
he is. I don't
Yeah,
know
but
where
these
he is.
numbers, I understand what he's saying when he's saying the numbers are fudged a little, but right now this is what we have to go by. So
Right.
we're going to let's see. I'm trying to get that to come back up. Okay, there we go. All right, so
just-
let's continue on. So we got to everybody. We're trying to get to 1.5. So quick, let's go to the next group, which is climate justice hawks. Okay, you are a climate justice hawk, and that means your birthday is May and June. You've got to speak up. But if you just want to answer as a climate justice hawk, go right ahead. CJH, and then put your comment. Which of these policies would your group really support, really want to do? And I think someone already answered that.
If you were a climate justice hawk.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody says 1.5
Where?
is the rearview mirror. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand what you're saying. Why don't you Zoom meeting with your clan and stream to YouTube? I don't know. But
It's the first time we've done this. Boy, we
Yeah.
have a tough chat.
I mean, I think it's working really well.
All right. I'm trying to, I guess maybe it's me.
I think we're getting good comments.
All right,
Reduce
guys.
grass, seed
Here's-
grass.
Tim said screeching sounds, full nuclear and negative population. Ooh, really?
Oh, well, we're on the climate justice hawks.
Okay,
They
so
don't
let's-
support nuclear.
No.
Now, climate justice hawks want to see the biggest action possible, the most effective action possible. So that would be, can anybody think? Are you thinking? What would a climate justice hawk ask for?
Oh, they would want, let me see, a climate, in my opinion, they would want energy, climate justice, population growth, economic growth. Yeah, it would be under growth, but we need to go.
No, the Justice Hawks are
You
the
don't
ones that
think-
want climate. They want to address the climate, bring the temperature down as quick as possible, as extremely as possible, with any tools possible. So they would not support economic growth, and
No, the opposite way.
they'd want to bring down economic growth. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that. So here we are at 2.7. Let's bring it down. We've got 2.5. We got more than another 2/10 out of it.
Right.
And also, let's look at population, because that's, controversial. People get all, oh, you're going to stop people or kill people or something.
Yeah.
But here it
They're gonna
is,
say
of course.
eugenicists, which is not it at all. It's just empowering females. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. And as you see, when you go here, and I'm teaching everyone to use this because I want you to go and use it. I want you to learn more about it. You can go to this population. See the 3 little dots right here? When you
Yeah.
open it up,
Yeah.
that's what I clicked on to get this. And you can assume a higher or lower population growth right here. It's going to be 10 billion by 2100. And there are steps like women's education and access to family planning, as Sandy said, that have been shown to accelerate shifts to smaller families, which would slow population growth just naturally. So educate the girls and give them some empowerment and choices over their own lives and reproduction, and we can get a lower growth in the population. Climate justice hawks in the chat did anybody else answer as a CJH? Anybody? Let's see.
Definitely. Let me see. I have a couple. I don't know if it was specifically to this one. Climate justice. We do not need to make golf courses. No more buildings that are not necessary. Would
Yeah,
you
and then
think
somebody
that would
else said-
kind of fit under that one.
Yeah, and someone else said degrowth.
Yeah.
How about that? That kind of sounds like stopping deforestation too. So here we go. We're going to bring deforestation down and just stop cutting down the rainforest and stop cutting down forests for golf courses or whatever they mentioned.
I thought
so
I saw
let's
an
read-
article that said that might be happening a little bit, a tiny little bit.
So we got
the
another 10
Amazon.
of that.
Right.
All right. So as you see, we're trying to make a menu here, a recipe, combinations of things. So one thing by itself doesn't really work. We don't have a magic solution to climate change. And I understand it's hard for people here to talk about solutions, but at the same time, I feel like we are on the battlefield. We are in the melee right now. And when you look around at the people fighting with you, do you want them to say, I quit, it's too late, or we can't win, the other side's too strong. It's really not a choice at that moment. You're in it. So we want our allies to fight with us, and we're in it. We're totally committed. And and also every inch, every tenth of a degree is that we fight for actually can save something. And I'll show you those impact graphs at the end. So let's
Well, wait, Mindy's said, oh, I had it. Mindy is a climate justice. She said electrification of industry. May.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, let's try that. So we have electrification of industry right here.
Mm-hmm.
hmm And let's replay that to see how much it really was. It didn't make a whole bunch, but why didn't it make a whole bunch? Because that is usually a very powerful slider.
Huh.
So one of the, yeah, can you think about that? Why didn't it make such a big effect? Because usually it does. Part of that is because we don't have a carbon price in action and we don't have energy efficiency in action. And energy efficiency is a huge one because the system we have right now is so tremendously inefficient. The fossil fuel system as it is so inefficient in delivering the energy. It wastes a lot. So by increasing energy efficiency with what we have and insulating our houses, even we do that can help. So climate justice hawks, someone else in CJH said help to stop wars and meet people's needs. So I am trying to see where that would fit. To me, that's more like, well, we have something called co-benefits, multi-solving. This is a
Mm-hmm.
systems dynamics approach, which means many factors creating the results. So, um, so uh,
I got a good one for you.
yeah, what?
I got one here. I'm going to get him. Keith.
Keith?
A massive shift in consciousness. Is that an option? Is there a slider for it?
There are things that aren't on this simulator.
But that's a
But
good one, you have to say, because in order to make any changes, even if the long term goal we will never meet, we could make changes to make things better day by day. So I think that was a good one because people's consciousness, everything has to change in how we look at things. Wouldn't you agree, Karen?
I would. I would.
Absolutely.
And that is why all that's what all my work is about. So I do this, but I do a lot of other different work as well, even creative work, making songs, things like that.
Hmm.
But it's all focused on saturating the consciousness with really climate truth. So I think people this illusion, living in illusion is very wearing. It's very it's just very wearisome, and people get tired of they cling to their illusions for safety, and they're
Hmm.
so afraid of being made depressed. They're so afraid of grieving the losses that we know are coming or that we know are already happening, the horrible tragedies that we know are already happening. But there's this alchemy of the heart that transmutes that grief. So hiding from it actually just puts you in an illusion state. It's not really that healthy psychologically. And people are that's why I love, you said I love that song in the beginning. That's why I love it. It would make me happy every time you would play that and I would know that your
The
show
end of the
was
world.
well, yeah, and the dum bum 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 bum. It would make me happy because I knew that I was going to be in a community of people who are facing reality and
Right.
who are accepting reality. Um, and
Well, that's why you follow us.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I also think I don't know. I don't think that I know that you can look at a trajectory and say this is going to happen, and yes, but I also think that what we do now makes it possible for future generations, for a future generation, maybe just the next one, to innovate. If we don't
And there are
pretend,
generations because babies are being born every day. I have a
Yeah.
kid whose peers, she's not, but her peers are all having babies. So somebody's got to help these kids.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Right.
Karen.
And I'm hoping that they can't innovate if they're standing in a flooded laboratory. They can't innovate at all if there's no social structure to support universities and science. So what we do right now is going to provide enough support so they can stand on our shoulders to jump. And and we don't know. We can't say for sure that something surprising won't come out of that. Just like 100 or 200 years ago, people never would have conceived of heavier than air flight. Heavy, they
Yeah.
couldn't have imagined that, or antibiotics. And so we can't just completely limit possibilities that we have not ever conceived of yet happening. So
Well,
let's
we
go
have no
on.
control. Right.
Huh?
We have
Yeah.
no control, really.
Yeah. I mean,
You
the
have
only
control
control.
by training and helping people understand what's happening.
Yeah. The only control we have is, I mean, our duty, the duty of everyone alive today,
Uh-huh.
is to stop the use of fossil fuels any way we can, even if it's messy, even if it's, not perfect. But the quicker we can do that, the more of a functioning society we will provide them to stand on. So
True.
we've done climate justice talks. The next one is clean tech, which is July and August birthdays. So step up
Okay.
July and August. You're on deck.
Well, Keith says we're not going to innovate our way out of this.
No, we aren't. Just like 200 years ago, nobody thought that anyone could innovate the things we have today. But
Yeah.
possibly if we provide a civilizational structure, possibly a future could innovate something that would at least help. And I'm not going to close the door on that. You can call it
Right.
hopium, but I just think that it's kind of hubris, or I don't know, it's kind of hubris to say I know exactly the future because we
Well, we
don't know
don't.
exactly the future.
I will never say that because we don't. We
Yeah,
don't. You know.
yeah,
And people are always going to do what they're going to do. We can't control. We can just educate.
yeah. So I'm not seeing. Yeah,
All right.
um,
What
I'm
did
not
you
seeing.
say?
I'm not seeing anybody say CT. Is anybody commenting as a clean tech person? You care about promoting renewables. You are skeptical about relying on unproven solutions such as new zero carbon or technological fixes.
Recycling
Um,
reuse level in society. Is that part of the slider for this one?
sure. What'd you say?
Recycling reuse level in society. Is that
Um,
clean tech? Because, it's,
well, renewables is, I
oh,
can
that
push it a
was,
little further. I could push it further. We got another
right.
tenth out of it.
It's funny when you say the 10th. When I interviewed Dr. Gilbs, who is the Antarctic climate scientist, and she said, why not do things if we can just bring down by a tenth, by a tenth? And so that's what is happening out there. And I try to tell everybody it's what's happening.
Right. And it's
So
worth
why not
fighting
learn?
for.
Why not
It's worth
learn?
it's worth it, whatever we can do. So a clean tech
Yeah.
person might want to move the carbon price or might want to retire some old coal plants. We can do that. We could say, hey, let's retire some old ones, reduce new coal infrastructure, and um, let's see, where is it? Coal plant accelerated retirement. We could say, hey, let's retire more coal plants. We got some out of that one. Let's see. Didn't it gave us a little bit in Fahrenheit, didn't give us any in C. But that's because yes, yeah. So that's really fascinating here because you want to in the order that you do it in and the combination that you do it in matters a lot. So for instance, if we would electrify everything, but we're still getting most of our energy from coal, then that wouldn't really help us.
Yeah. Coal
But
is
if
like, that has to go.
Right.
That has to
And
go.
and this is the mix of our energy supply. So as you see, the stuff that we've done so far actually changed the mix of our energy supply.
Interesting. Poppy said clean tech is renewable. Please factor in the mining and the transportation again. So I guess some do probably cancel out the other.
But there's a lot of like, you could recycle the batteries now. There's the technology there is just really fast increasing, and it's been suppressed for so long. So actually, anything we can do to help free that suppression up and get the renewable technology, allow it to innovate would really help. Um, I mean, there's some new tech that seems even cleaner than what we're thinking of now. So let's see what a carbon price will do, okay? Because
Okay.
nobody has even tried it yet.
That was what Citizens Climate Lobby used to talk,
Yeah,
or they still
that's
do.
what they're working on. Yeah, it's a
Still,
carbon
yeah,
price, carbon fee and dividend.
yeah. I
So we're at
did talk
2.1.
about that.
Let's
Okay.
see. Okay, to 1.6. There we go. Oh, we haven't lost people. We've gained people. That's nice. That's good. Thanks, everybody, for staying around. So we have 2.1 down to 1.6 just from the carbon price. So that is what we call a very powerful lever. And we also haven't done anything with energy efficiency or lowering other means of lowering our natural gas and oil. So we can try those. We also haven't planted any trees over here. So I'm going to ask world governments. World governments, what would you be willing to do? What's a popular one that senators love to talk about?
Well, money. All right, guys, come on. World government. This ought to be fun. I want to see what people.
WG, the governments of the world.
Yeah, governments
Appreciate
of the world. Oh, Gary's used this. He said he's used the En-ROAD simulator and appreciate the intent. Balance this with Simon Michaud's work on solutions. Reduce energy and materials consumption by 80%. Now, that's the path. That's scary. Yeah,
Well, but this is what's so great because
you could see
yes,
it
we
right
do
on
need to
here.
scale down our way of life and our energy use. We need to scale it back, scale it down. But people aren't going to want to look. They're not. It's a hard sell to say, "I want you to sacrifice anything," or or not, or inconvenience yourself at all. It's a pretty hard sell. But I think it's been shown through history that people do respond to a call to heroism. They respond to a call to serve a greater purpose. I mean, and if you look through history, armies have been mobilized in the thousands and because of a call to something greater. People would appreciate that their life has meaning and that we're here right now, we're all alive together for a purpose. So I think that's how we get people on board. Really. I mean, yeah, we say not only do we want you to scale back to a lower energy lifestyle, but we also have shown that everyone in the world can get fed and have shelter on only half the energy now spent in the world. And that's through the living well within limits. It's a project by Julia Steinberg. I know I've put it in the chat many times on your show, and I hope some people have read up on it. But it's really neat because it's called ecological economics, and it's basically looking at, has anybody done that research? Economists didn't do that research for many, many years. And Julia Steinberg started that, and it's called Living Well Within Limits. So look it up because it's pretty exciting. And she's on YouTube talking about it, which explains it better than I can. Advocate people on the advancements of nuclear power and dispel the fear of it, says Scott. And I hope And Jeff says, I hope y'all did some yoga or Tai Chi today. Yes, because we got to change our consciousness, right, worldwide. So do whatever you can. So let's say let's look at nuclear, all right? So we got 1.6 and 3.0. Let's push it up and see how much a difference it makes. And I'm going to replay that. So I push nuclear to the max, and it makes a
To
very
use
little,
it or get
huh?
rid of it? To use it or get rid of it?
I pushed it to subsidize it, to push
Oh.
high subsidizing and try to build more. But look at this. It doesn't make any
But that's a
difference.
hypothetical because most people here hate it.
Right. But look, it
Oh.
doesn't make any difference
Oh,
in the
so then
temperature
scrap
increase.
it. Sorry.
And over here, it made a difference. It suppressed renewables a little bit. See, it suppresses it a little bit.
Yeah.
And let's see the reason. Let's open this up. So it says nuclear power production does not release carbon dioxide, but it produces waste that has to be managed for centuries.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also has a huge it has a long process to build them, to site them and build them. So it takes at least 10 years to get a nuclear power plant up and running. And they're tremendously expensive too.
So we jumped the gun.
So,
It's really not not something we should be looking at.
well, it's not as effective as people think. That's the thing. Like even at the end, we could reset this and just try nuclear and see, but it's not as effective as people think. Now, the new nuclear, I just think that we have a lot of unproven technologies yet. We don't know yet. So so world governments has chosen, all right, one of the things they love to talk about is let's plant a bunch of trees. Let's plant 1 trillion trees. So here's our trees, and it did get us to 1.5. So it got us another tenth.
Wait, I have a comment. Nuclear does produce CO2, and you still gotta mine the uranium and refine it, enrich it. Yep, obsolete optics. That's right. That's why it's not
It's true.
a good option.
Yeah, and
Mm-mm.
I don't think it's ethical to produce something that's poison, that's radioactive for 500,000 years and just put it on the future. Like here, you can deal with it in the
I don't
future
either.
later. Yeah. So, and also, when you think about it, I mean, we don't have any place on the earth anymore that's away. You can't throw things away because there is no away. So we can't site that nuclear stuff down in some salt mine somewhere because everywhere is someone's sacred space. Everywhere is some species biome. Everywhere is some a home of some creature or person or life or rock. I mean, the earth is a living thing. We can't just call that place a sacrifice zone anymore. So let's go ahead with, let's see, what haven't we tried? We planted a bunch of trees. We're at 1.5. That's
There
pretty
was
good.
someone who said, wait a minute, I have to go back because it was good. It was, oh, the tree factor is way off. Rollin switch. So now you're talking about the trees. I don't know what tree factor he was meaning in
Yeah.
this simulation.
Are you
Let's
maybe
talk about
saying
that.
that? Are you maybe saying that planting a lot of trees would not get another tenth? That planting a
No,
million
maybe that,
trees?
yes, it's a good thing to plant. I
Well,
definitely support all the planting possible and rewilding and all of those things because that's where you're going to get the most help locally.
one thing, so one of our representatives on
Hmm.
the floor of the Congress recently said, all we have to do is plant 1 trillion trees and we don't have to
Oh,
change our
well,
lifestyle at all.
that's a dummy. I mean, that's not somebody that's educated, and that's maybe they need to take the En-ROADS training.
Well, what I wanted to say is if you go to YouTube on Climate Interactive channel, there's one that says plant 1 trillion trees. So as soon as he said that, Climate Interactive went on and said, okay, we'll test it. We'll test that. If you're saying that that will solve all our problems and we don't have to change our lifestyles, we'll test that and see what happens. So in order to do that, they had to go into here and they had to change the assumptions because there's only a million, I think, not 1 trillion in here. So they had to change the hectares to 900 hectares, I think, in order to get 1 trillion trees. But
Here's the
anyway, you
comment.
can go
It
on and
was,
look at that one yourself. Huh?
and let me give you the comment that where did
Okay.
it go? It was good. He said that you would get a much planting and protecting trees should cause a much stronger cooling. Trees are us.
Yeah, trees are great, but also we're looking at maybe having 10 million mouths to feed. And
That's
so,
the
I mean, 10
biggest
billion.
problem. That's a big problem.
So
Huge
some,
problem.
so yeah, so I mean, within reason, there's a certain amount of trees you can plant, but where are you going to plant it? Whose land are you going to take this for? What kind of trees are you going to plant? Are they fast growth? Or actually, it turns out that protecting old growth forests is a lot more effective than planting new or doing tree farming, as far as sequestering
Oh, you
carbon.
mean like monoculture?
Yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah.
little Christmas tree farms and stuff. Um, So that's another thing you can look at, and it's just fascinating to play around with this. I just encourage you to do it. So, but right now, our last group is conventional energy. So, conventional energy, what would you say? What would you so in during this United Nations negotiation? I want to tell you there were more at the last COP. There were more fossil fuel lobbyists than there were representatives from the countries.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting.
Yeah. Now, and what does that say about and okay, and also put in the chat, guys, what other ways does the conventional energy sector control the policies and the agreements that countries are making, their commitments that they're making? How else does it control that? Can you think of a way? I'm not seeing the chat move. Hang on. Oh, wait, there
Oh,
it
it's
goes.
moving. It's
Okay. Oh,
moving. It's moving.
okay.
Um, I've got 36 highlighted comments. Wow. Hey, everybody, even with a 10-second slow down, it's pretty busy out there, so that's good.
So the conventional energy sector has power in this situation because it has power over governments, over elected officials. So what would it do? What would it oppose as far as these sliders? Propaganda. Astrologer Climate Witness says, yes, it has a lot of propaganda. It has billions of dollars to spend on climate disinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gary Hoover says people will die, so we won't have 10 billion. And yes, that is part of why the 3.6 is now 3.3 here, because they actually had to factor in the losses and damage and deaths from the current trajectory. It's not for a good reason that the baseline was brought down to 3.3. The COP is being held in Dubai. They said that's
Yeah,
an answer.
we all know that's horrible. Yeah.
Okay. Climate
Well,
and
she made
okay.
the I know Poppy made the corporation. Is all of these things that are gonna are they going to make more growth, more corporations? Is it? But then, Poppy, the only thing I posit is we can't stop it. So we live like we live and just hope for the best. I don't know if it's hope. There's no hope, but
Well,
there's
here's one of the
conviction.
somebody commented innovation and competition, harumph.
Yes,
We
harumph.
want innovation and competition, harumph. Education, propaganda, lobbying, creating social definition. Um, so I'm not sure what that. If only those sliders could include second and third order effects of the changes that occur. Well, there's a part of this Climate Interactive that broke off and is called the Multi-Solving Institute, and
Hmm.
it covers a lot of what isn't on here. For instance, the co-benefits of doing these actions. For instance, one city electrified its transport, its public buses, and they had an immediate benefit in less admissions to the hospital for asthma. So that was almost an immediate co-benefit, and that really helps you to get your city to do some of these things when you can show, hey, it's going to have an immediate co-benefit
Right.
financially or in public health or preventing disasters. So the conventional energy group is saying they want technological, so I'm going to push that, but I'm going to do low growth because it is still unproven. It's not really ever been deployed at the scale that's necessary, but it does include agricultural soil carbon, which we know how to do, and biochar and direct air capture and enhanced mineralization. So I'm pushing that, but conventional energy would definitely oppose a carbon price. It would just come and say no carbon price. And if any politician even whispers about removing subsidies, we would just, what would they do? What would they do? What do you think? What would they do to a politician who was really strong on, on changing their industry?
You mean
Because we know
getting
what
rid of fossil fuel subsidies?
Yeah, taking away the subsidies. What would they do to that
We
politician?
want that to happen, but what would who do? The voters or the corporations?
The fossil fuel industry,
Yeah,
the
they wouldn't
conventional
get
energy
donate. They wouldn't get reelected because there would be no money in their campaign, right?
right? And they even have other things in their arsenal. They have, oh, I'm reading so many in the chat here. They have things like dark money campaigns.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
they can run,
absolutely.
yeah, they can donate $1 million to your opponent, and they can run a smear campaign against you, which happened to people in Wisconsin. So you're pretty much out if you try to do the actions that the people here are demanding. So the very people here are demanding these actions, and the politicians can't do them because they'll be out, and then they won't be able to do the rest. They won't be able to complete the project. So what is the solution to that problem? How, and I'm going to throw this out to you because I really need you guys to think about this. I really need you to think about this. What about all these sectors? How could all these sectors work together to overcome that control and power of the conventional energy sector over our democracies, over our governments? Because they have exploited a loophole in our democracy in order to tip the balance in their favor at pretty much every turn. So what can we do? What could all of those sectors do to work together and solve each other's problems and obstacles in order to, okay, can anybody, let's see, I'm going to read what they have to
Anybody
say.
out there?
I real hope you can see it. Oh,
I mean,
someone's
I look at it this way: we literally our own lives we have control of what we do around us. So far, we haven't lost total control yet. We can do what we can. We can live off grid if we can afford it. We can do a lot of things like this. But these bigger things are going to happen regardless of we liking it or not. I say that all the time. It's
Yeah,
going to happen.
right.
It's not
I
like
like this.
corporations are going to lose their power yet. Poppy, I like her. Take up arms and overthrow the government.
Keith
Yeah.
says, in our democracy, when did we get one?
Oh, I
Well,
love us. I love everybody.
Well, Mary Sue is here. I was hoping she would post something about move
Uh,
to amend.
How about,
Move
yeah,
to,
here is Cancel Citizens United and their hush money. They're a good group, Move to Amend. They
yes.
really, really are trying politically to get rid of this stupid thing. And it's just, but all of the groups, it takes forever to get anything. I mean,
But they have really good strategy. That's what impresses me about Move to Amend. They have good legal strategy.
yeah.
So people are saying they're, oh, really so many good things. But so one astrologer climate witness says put their money together. So that's an interesting thought. What if the land forestry and agriculture and the industry and commerce, what if
Where
industry
is
and
she?
commerce said, hey, we don't like to be tied to the random whims of the fossil fuel industry, just
Right.
changing the price of what it costs us to run our industry, run our factory. They can change the price at any time whenever they want another profit. And that affects our profit. So what if we made our own energy? What if we made our own energy and we wouldn't be tied to that? We wouldn't be dependent on that. So we often think that industry and commerce is, completely like this with fossil fuels. And, oh, yeah, they're, entrenched in each other. but actually they might want to be more free of it and more independent and have more control over their own profits. So that's that's a way that these different sectors can work together. They can say, hey, our world governments,
Yeah,
we
but
can
right now,
help make sure that you can stay in power if you do the things we want. And some of the things we want are incentives to help us transition to renewable energy. Let's see what else. So they say, okay, David McHugh said revolution and
where's
established
David?
citizens
Yeah.
assembly. Revolution and established citizens
Oh,
assemblies.
like Roger Hallam talks about the citizen assemblies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of people reaching out across the world and just sort of, if the governments aren't going to do it, we're going to do it. We're going to reach out and make this network ourselves. That's why I kind of wish Marianne Williamson weren't so determined to be part of the Democratic,
Yeah.
whole system
Machine.
there. Like,
Machine.
I kept writing to her saying, "Hey, you should get a cabinet of experts in every field, and then tell everybody who your cabinet members are and what they're going to do, and you have all these experts working together to solve our problem, and then we can all just say we're world citizens, and you're
Mm-hmm.
our government."
Yeah, right. Then you got all the crazy people saying that it's um Soros or the Kochs or one world government.
See, maybe all these solutions.
Uh,
So Poppy says since we've already hit 2C for a couple of days, maybe all these solutions are kind of out of date. Well, Poppy, they do continually update this, and they also test it against the other nations that also have these, and the other science organizations around the world that also have evaluative tools. So they test it they test it historically. So they go back and see if this tool will accurately reflect what happened, and they'll also test it against others. So it's not a predictive thing. It's not prediction that we're looking at here. It's actually just trying to see what the data tells us when we put it all together.
yeah, really,
And it
basically.
has a really good record of being.
I think this is a good training tool in schools too. I mean, this is there's kids that need to learn things and understand how the world works. So I give you a lot of credit for your work with children.
Well, I would like to see, there are people that have tablets that are running around the halls of the COP and grabbing the delegates and hauling them off to the side and saying, take a look at this. And also, you can do it with your city council, and you can do it with your county commissioners. You can have lunch and say, hey, I want you to see that some of these human actions can actually improve things in real ways, and they're not magical.
And
Are
tie it
any of
to
these
your local area where you live. That's how I think about. That's how I think. And
right?
my friend Debbie's in the chat, and if she's still here, and we fought a pipeline and won, and she is working on the project in locally so that we don't get waste sludge in the winter on our roads. And now we are gearing up to look at stopping the bullshit drilling for methane and injecting CO2 in the ground. They're saying that's the problem, though, that injecting CO2 in the ground is not going to solve anything when you're still drilling for methane and burning it. It's just BS greenwashing, really.
Yeah.
BS greenwashing.
So I want to show you
Okay.
towards the end of the session, we like to look
Hi,
at what
Hoops.
we accomplished. So what did we accomplish together here in the actions that we proposed?
All right. Tell us.
Oh, I thought you were going to read something. Okay. So species losing more than 50% of climatic range means that they're going extinct. These would be extinctions. And in 80 years, 50% of invertebrates, so the black line is the business as usual trajectory. So invertebrates, 50% would be gone in 80 years. But by the actions here that we did, getting it down to below 1.5, we saved 3%. And this right here, this little gray line is today. So today, oh, it's saying we haven't. I don't understand that. It's usually higher than that. But okay. And here's vertebrates. We have 1%, and we got it from 27 down to 2. So plants, 45% of plants going extinct, and then down to 6%. So our work here, look at all the insects. We know how much we depend on those.
Yeah.
And the mammals. So 24% down to 3. So this is, but you know what we did? This is a pretty extreme scenario. He's right. We don't know if we can get it that low, but 1.4 is pretty good.
Just little things.
Yeah, birds and
Think locally.
Look how much butterflies and moths we would lose if we didn't take action. And damselflies and dragonflies. So
Stop using pesticides in the soil. I mean, how are we going to get the suburban people to stop using that shit when every Home Depot and Lowe's sells it in the season? What is it? Roundup, all that.
I know.
It feels like a losing battle sometimes, but it's just trying little
I
baby
agree.
steps on your own. That's all I feel like I can do.
Well, but this, I mean, if anyone here felt like they could talk to a city council person about this, then maybe some of the development decisions would be done differently. And they wouldn't rezone conservation land into high density development because they would see that there's a bigger picture here that we're all part of. So the impact graphs, I want to say heat deaths, where is it here? Additional heat deaths from extreme heat. So if we got the temperature down, and I can see that people here are saying we can't get it that low.
We're above this right now.
Well,
1.4.
some days. I mean, it's not constant. Yeah.
We hit the mark.
Right. So if you want me to, I can change that, but I do want to look at how much we're saving of human lives. Okay. And this isn't, these aren't theoretical lives. This isn't like, what am I trying to say? To say, oh, it's too late. We shouldn't do anything. These are lives that are going, these are people who are alive today. Babies that are born today. This is their lifetime in the next 80 years. So this is why everything we do matters. So here's Southeast Asia, 8%. But through actions, we might be able to bring it down. And the same, look how much of progress we can make in all of these areas.
It's got to be a miserable way. Just ask anybody that went to the Taylor Swift concert in Brazil.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
And also I want to look at crop yield. So what we're looking at here is basically world hunger. So corn, wheat, rice, and soybeans, and this is where we are right now. So we're already experiencing crop loss from climate change. So we're at 4% crop loss right now. But if we took all these actions, we could actually just gain another 1% instead of way up here at 20%. Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting? That's a huge difference right there in starving people, Wouldn't it be great to wake up someday and just know that there weren't any hungry children in the world? There are any hungry, miserable children. That would just be
I remember Biafra. I remember all of these things happening, and it is. And somebody, all right, obsolete optics. I'm putting it up. Why is saving human lives seen as a good thing? Isn't that how we got ourselves in this predicament in the first place?
What?
That's a tough one.
What you mean?
Why is saving? I mean, we don't do. We're humane people. Do we want to just let people die? I mean, it just doesn't feel right. Ugh.
Well, I mean, we save people's lives through medicine, but we also,
Yep.
according to this, is we're saving people's lives through protecting the climate and the environment. I mean, we don't, it's kind of unethical to just say we're going to pollute your neighborhood so that you get a lot of asthma deaths, you know? So,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
change. It's change in people. It's change in habits. It's change, and I mean, look at it this way: if we are an older crowd in our chat, there's still younger generations that are living. I don't understand what we're supposed to tell them.
right. I want to be able to tell them I did everything, absolutely everything I could. I feel that strongly. I need to be able to
I mean,
tell them I did
yeah, and
everything.
no matter what I feel of the big picture,
Yeah.
there's still, and I say it to too, that there's little things to do, little
So does
things to do.
so let me ask you this, people in the chat, can you answer? Why so we got a big result from bringing the temperature of the planet down in 80 years. We got a big result in species loss, and we saved a lot of species in world hunger. We saved a lot of crops in heat deaths. We saved a lot of human lives. Why didn't we get such a much better in saving of sea level rise or reduction of sea level
Yeah,
rise?
that's an
Why was
interesting one.
uh,
Why?
yeah, yeah. Let's see what people say. I
All
like
right,
talk.
guys. Why didn't we? Because sea level rise is beyond comprehension. It's happening. Thanks, Keith. The younger generation is not in touch with reality any more than you were 30 years ago. Well, what does that really mean though for them? They're going to have no choice. And people in many places are already having no choice. They've lived through
Okay,
fires and all these terrible things, way worse than 30 years ago.
yeah. And so Fran Stallings says oceans will take many decades to cool back down. That's true. And remember that a warmer ocean takes up more space. So that actually contributes to sea level rise. It's actually the warmth of the ocean. Also, the melting ice a lot of that is probably already baked into the to what's going to happen. We can't really
That's what my
refreeze
Mark said. It's baked in.
refreeze ice. The conventional energy sector says that we need more oil to grow crops, more chemicals to kill
Oh,
insects because they're pests, and of course, more profits.
now
That's
that was a comment. I don't know if I saved that one. Somebody did make that comment about that's about we need more to do this. All these, we need more fossils. We need
right.
all of this to make industrialized farming, which is awful.
Well, that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that. In fact, I mean, I seriously, when I watched the hearing, if
Yeah.
you look up the hearing that the House had, that the House had on fossil fuel subsidies.
Hmm.
It turned into it
I
turned
didn't see.
into a revival meeting
Oh
on
God.
hallelujah, look at all fossil fuels have done for us. It was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. And that's the line that they want us to believe. But everybody here knows differently, and we aren't fooled anymore. So I saw something here that was really neat. Okay, astrologer climate witness says no one talks about stopping doing stuff.
Right. That was a
Stop
good one.
mass entertainment, stop production of frivolousness, and I would say stop putting barges, single-use plastic on giant container ships and shipping them around the world. So I want to finish up because I don't want people to like go without their sleep, and a lot of people. Oh, some people have left already, about 10. So I want to say, everybody, look at this. What would you love about being part of a world that was on track to go this direction? A world that was actually working together to make this happen. Whether we could do it or not, but a world that was trying. What would you love about being part of that? And I'm going to be quiet for at least 30 seconds or a minute. And I'm just going to ask people to think about that, bring it into your heart. and answer in the chat, what would you love about being part of a world that was on track to do these things?
Yeah, put yourself in that just for a bit, just for a minute. Just let yourself go. How would you feel? I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love to see all these positive, wonderful things happen.
Yeah. So we're looking at it, and I want you to put it in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing then. I'm going to go on and come back.
All right, let's see. A world without cults and Christianity. Yeah, I can agree with that one. That might help things.
I would love to walk outside and go
Aw,
shopping in a
thank
food
you.
forest, says climate teacher John.
Yeah. See, and I watch all the gardening shows, and I watch all these people that are doing all this regenerative stuff that I love. And so, if it brings me happiness to see people that are doing things. Of course, in cities, well, that's not really
Sandy,
something they could do.
let's read some of these chats because it's I can't back it up, so I got to catch them when they
All right.
go.
Well, let me read the super chats and thank people. Kano Frump, $20. Thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for sharing. That's very lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Keep running the channel to try to do
Breathing,
things. Nadia,
breathing.
democracy's a sham. It take 21 January 1793. Wait. What'd she say? To override the plutocratic power, forcing fossil fuel and planned obsolescence and disposability on us. Yeah.
It's going past too fast. Let's see. But
And obsolete. Oh, here. Drop coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear, population, economy, deforestation, and methane. Boost
try to find the
renewables.
ones that people answered at the end about what they would love. What
I
would they
will. I
love?
wanted to just thank people first. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for that. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to go back to okay. So, what would you love to see? What would you love to see, guys? If you could just imagine.
What would you? Okay. Yeah. What would you love about being part of a world on track to accomplish these goals?
Okay, here's one. What if wonderful things were actually happening? How about no more war machine? Yeah, I would like that. No more war machine. We could give that a little yay. That would be great.
Zen
Yeah.
Z says, "What I would love would be more kindness."
Oh, I like that.
Emerald View says, "Imagine no religion,
All right. I'd like to wait.
breathing
I'd like to
free
know
to
what I
know we
need to
were
smoke to
creating
imagine
something
that.
worth." Oh, I love
Education. David says he would like education on sustainability, which is basically trying to stay alive. Uh,
Gary Ballard says, "Breathing free to know we were creating something worthwhile." That would be nice.
all right. Where was that one? Who was that? So I could put it up.
Gary Ballard.
Oh, Gary. All right. How far back are you?
I don't know. I'm just kind of
How
scrolling
far? Oh,
around.
well, breathing free to know we were creating something worthwhile.
Yeah.
And Susan had a nice one. Letting yourself, I mean, it feels good for 5 minutes to let yourself go. I would love to see a world of love and sharing our resources.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Uh, and here's Poppy. I love my garden, my chickens, my future rabbits. And that's a beautiful thing. This is what, we're not in big corporations. We have little places. We're
Yeah.
lucky and blessed that we can do those things.
This one, Wireless Mike 73 says, "I'm a Christian and I'm on board with fixing this. All Christians aren't evil."
Aw, no, we don't say that. Right. Scott said, we wish more were like you. Jared Brock. I did the show on Jared Brock. He's a wonderful Christian. I read his piece. He's amazing. He's got a great website. He writes on Medium and Substack. He is nothing like, he's truly what a Christian should be. Scott, people living for today. Go ahead and sing. Sing, Karen. You got such a great voice. Uh,
Although you may say I'm a dreamer, but
but
I'm
I'm
not
not
the
the
only
only
one.
one.
Maybe someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Start taking care of educating, feeding children we already have with the aim that they won't need consumption to fill the holes in their childhood left. Thank you, Fran.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I,
Absolutely.
and Tim Bob just says, would love to see more love. I think, getting us, they're getting this pressure and this
Thank you,
monkey of
Candy.
fossil fuels off of our economy would really help us feel more love and and community, I think.
I like this. I wish to see a world where we think only 25% about our immediate wants and 75% about what we leave behind for the next generation of all species. Absolutely, all species. I agree with that because we are slaughtering the animal world faster and faster and faster, and they're losing habitat, and it's just very sad.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right, let's see what
Yeah.
else. Okay. Did you hear? Oh, I'm all the way up. Wait, I got to come back all the way
Warren
down. We
Warren L. Warren says to scale it down seems we would need to collapse.
collapse.
Geopolitics is not fit for these aspirations. And I understand that. That's why I threw out that thought question of what can be done to change that geopolitics, to change the way our politics work so that it's not an obstruction anymore, but it's actually helping us.
You know,
Um,
I was listening to people talking about voting, and a lot of people say voting doesn't work. But then in this country, what, 40% of people vote? There's more people that don't vote. And the young people feel frustrated that they can't make any change. And then they'll say, well, there's nobody to vote for. But there's a cadre of people to vote for. And if enough people voted, maybe it wouldn't just be the left and the right. Maybe a Marianne or a Cornell or a JRFK. I mean, maybe it could be somebody different, but people have to register to vote to make any of those changes, basically.
mhm.
David would like to see education for degrowth.
Yes, wouldn't that be great? And you know what I'd like to see is some kind of a networking platform, like Adam Soul talks about, like humanities
Yeah,
platform,
I had
where
him on
anybody who
3 times.
suddenly becomes climate aware could like go to their local library and immediately hook up and like plug in their skills to what needs to be done right away. You know,
Obsolete can't say what he wants. Okay, let's see.
end hyperconsumerism, says Mark Roche.
Yep. And I would love for billionaires, large corps, and world governments to get on board. It's going to take massive, major, and permanent legislation to make meaningful change and substantial change. So
Mhm.
even if, even if you feel like there's no time, we're not going to do it, we can't do it. Yeah, well, so what? Do it anyway.
Yes, do it anyway.
That's, that's, I don't know.
That's what you and I
Relieving
do. We don't
debts.
have the
I know.
resources, but we do it anyway.
No, we do it anyway.
Yeah.
Mike said green energy proliferation, better energy storage solutions, and less production of waste for profit would help change things. We need to make things that work and last.
Mhm.
And David again has a good one. Karen, libraries are good centers for communities to group and grow, and she's in one.
Yeah, I'm an adult services librarian.
Thanks, John. Yes, Karen, you really did energize the chat. You really did. And no matter, we're all in this together. We're on the same ship, guys. Abolish censorship, obsolete optics. Yep. And yes, Emerald View, of course, the amount of waste among humanity is staggering. And we
Mhm.
can't even stop wasting if we want to because we can't. So if you go out and you do purchase crap, and I try not to, but it's hard, it's in
Yeah.
plastic. And then they don't even recycle half of it. I mean, we're in such a conundrum with all of this shit. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound too doomy, but
I know.
there's a lot of things that are just not being done. Aw, look, you said, love seeing you all here. We like having you on the screen because you're usually in the chat.
Thank you. I love it too. And I'm really loving everyone's participation. And thank you, everyone, for participating. Susan Fortier says, I would like to not be afraid of what's coming. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Because I think the more people know, the less obstructionism we're going to have and the more peaceful the changes are going to be. I don't want to see people, turning into preppers hiding in their basements with their guns and defending their little cache and their
Right.
hoard. I would like to see neighbors working together saying there are climate impacts coming. Let's work together to do what we can to help each other.
Susan, you've watched Carolyn Baker, and she gives so much good stuff about how not to be afraid. I'm not afraid. I mean, things are happening, but I'm not afraid. We just can't be afraid. We just have to be courageous, like the scientist Kate Marble said it. And you're a doomer and you fly your flag, and I respect you for it. I'm doomer adjacent. Universal availability, Mark says, of birth control abortion services. Absolutely. I think that's a big key to giving power to women. Give power. Yep.
I like Zen Z. Zen Z says it would be wonderful to see a world waking up to the complete idiocy of continued fossil fuel subsidies and lobbying. Yeah.
All right.
You're definitely not too doomy.
I'm not too doomy. Well,
Only
let's see.
humans
Steph.
and Earth is
Hi,
so
Steph.
dumb.
Steph said, when I was in a local Facebook group suggesting we needed to work together to prep, I was getting the impression that most people preferred to keep their stuff secret. Well, that's because they see on the media all the freaks with weapons that want to come and take your shit and watch a lot of movies. Of all, I mean, you have to say movies are replicating what people are thinking is going to happen with all the zombies and all that, the genre. I mean, of course. And video games. I don't
And
even
just-
know what's on video games. I don't play them, but I know that there's people in this chat that do.
Yeah, and it's stoking fear, and the way that the media covers climate change stokes fear. It doesn't present it in a logical way. It just says, "Be afraid of this," and now be afraid of this, and you just get, it's coming at you.
No shit worth stealing, Tim Bob. Yeah, but canned fruit is worth stealing. Canned food. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I love you guys. I can't tell you how much, but I do. It's been really interesting and challenging and fun. And you even allowed yourself to imagine things, guys. That's good, because a lot of us are very angry, or we are disgusted, or we are just over it.
Or people are in despair and grief.
Yes, and that's why we bring Carolyn Baker on to the show for support for that. And Jennifer and I hope we give you that on Friday nights, delivering the shitty news with a smile and a goofy laugh, because it's just hard.
Oh, I wanted to say Margaret Klein Solomon also has an online program where you can go and talk to other people about
She
your
does?
climate grief.
Did
she's
you
a
see the
psychologist.
interview I did with her? It's on here.
No.
Oh, it's really good. You didn't see that one. Oh, shit. It's a good one. She is wonderful. Yeah. Yep. Oh,
Buy Sandy a coffee, please.
everybody's been very generous. I'm very, very happy. Thank you. It's a new thing for me after 7 years monetizing. I told you guys why, because I can't afford my freaking life, and I'm an old lady on a fixed income who needed a roof. So thank you. And to run this show. And there's a lot of software involved. Solar Tony. Keep trying. CO2 still going up. 424 ppm, May 2023. So that's it. Keep trying. Do these things. Hey, he's a doomer working for a Fortune 500 company in a high-level position. Every day the normie masking game gets harder. Sure, it did. It does. I think I unnormied myself when I medically retired and came out here and realized, holy shit, it's a lot better life. To begin with, Keith says, going in the right direction, people would be in the streets demanding our government end world wars. Is it happening? I wish. I mean,
Well,
all
everybody
wars.
join Code Pink right away.
All wars. Yeah, right?
Code Pink is for against all wars.
All wars. I hate it. I make anti-war videos, but I don't make them to vicious against only governments. I don't make them hateful against people. I that's my way of getting through. And I did a video the other day. I did it. I did it on well, I did a couple of them on what's going on, but oh, let's see. Keith again. Atmospheric CO2, October 418, 82 ppm, October 415. Yeah, it's going up. Global monitoring. Yep, we know.
Yeah, it is. So, well, but see, the thing is, the general public doesn't really know this. The general public doesn't really get what that means. And that's why
It's okay, Mike. Wait, sorry.
yeah, I
So,
try to convey it without graphs and charts. I try to convey it with, I have a rope, I have a 50-foot rope. And I say, this is the timeline of all the time that humans have been on the planet. This represents that. Where on this rope did parts per million start to go above 300? Where? And as they're standing there holding it, it's half of their thumb.
wow.
And then we talk about who in your family lived in 1900. That's the last generation of humans ever to live below 300, ever
Wow.
to be born below 300. And 6 generations got us from 300 to 420. So that is a different way of presenting it because they can feel it. And a lot of people at that point go, wow, really? And they look back and they think, and and I don't say however millions of years or something, or 4 million years for hominids, or 200,000 years for Homo sapiens. I just say as long as humans have been on the planet, so they can, interpret that however they want. But that's I think that just like Greta Thunberg said, she thought a lot of people still don't know.
And
And
that's why
because
you're doing what you're doing. People
yeah,
don't know. I see them all the time here where I live. They don't understand. The guy that's roofing my house talks to me about it because he doesn't know. He asks me questions because he doesn't know. He's a young guy with 2 kids, doesn't understand. And I tell him, I educate him, but I don't make it like, oh, we're fucked. Get over it. I no. A tool like this I can see using for these populations, and that's why you came to show it to us.
right. It gets to some people that you can't reach other ways. Yeah. And I mean, it can be used in so many different ways. Yeah. Not only do some people not know, too many people still deny. Right.
Absolutely.
And I personally love to talk to those people.
Me
I
too.
do.
I
I do.
do.
I don't debate ever. I
It's
do
not a
climate.
debate when people are asking you and really truly are living where we live is so rural and people they don't realize it, but the farmers do. The farmers know things are
Right.
going on, and the Amish know things are changing because of their farming. And now the climate zone. Poppy shared this the other day, which I hadn't seen. Thank you, Poppy, darling. The zones now. I used to be 5B. Now I'm going to be what, 6B. The climate planting zones are changing.
Right. Mine too. Yeah, in Ohio.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I presented at the OFA conference, Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association, and I was told there that farmers are noticing that their
NOFA or OFA? Because Debbie's
OFA, OEFFA,
okay.
Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association, that
Cool.
presented at their conference, and I was
Cool.
told that farmers like they have to feed more to their cows because their cows are the regular amount of hay. It doesn't have the nutrition in it that it
Right.
used to, so they have to feed like double amounts to get, or they have skinny cows.
And that's something.
Yeah.
Can't, Ryan, we should restart the biodomes and redo CO2 to under 300 ppm inside them. I don't know how that would happen. That sounds real techno.
I would never want to live. That's why I can't even, I would never consider going to Mars for heaven's sakes. I don't want to live in a dome.
Uh,
Yeah. To me, it's mind
Amish,
blowing.
Amish are earthworm whisperers. Wait a minute, I got to get that one up. I love it. They're my neighbors. They fix things for me. They're my buddies. I asked if shit hit the fan, are they going to take care? I asked them, are you going to take care of me?
A lot
Harvey,
A
my
lot of people
neighbor.
are talking about downside of degrowth and downshifting our amount of energy use. And what I want to say there is, we it wouldn't think of World War II and how people accepted rationing, people accepted going without things because everybody was going without. Everybody was kind of in the same boat. So if we could make that come to pass, where we're all downshifting together, because right now, you say you're going for a job interview and you're the one who arrives all sweaty because you didn't have air conditioning in your car or something, or I don't know, you rode your bike there, and so
Yeah.
you're trying to compete with somebody who's, has stepped out of an air conditioned car to go to the interview. So we need to all make sure, bringing it down means bringing it down for everyone. Sadly, the vast majority of people are in don't look up mode, says
I
Emerald.
really love this one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett. Defeat hate and horrible shit in the marketplace of ideas. Good ideas don't require force. God, I love that. Defeat hate. That seems like the key. And it's something that's just exacerbated around the world. Now we have a guy in Argentina we have to watch because he's, well, fringy, right wing, maybe hateful. It just seems like that's a big one, sweetheart.
Astrologer Climate Witness has a nice one.
Okay, let me find it.
It says, yes, neighbors.
Okay, I'm going to find her. Hey, thanks guys for hanging around. I am enjoying this and I'm not even looking at the clock. I don't even care how long we go.
It's like,
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Where's the one that she had? What did it
I
say?
don't know where to tell you, but it says, yes, neighbors cooking on their brick, homemade cookouts, having big outdoor dinners together at least once a week or so in the country.
I missed it. I like that. She
Yeah,
lives in
that's
the country. I know her personally, so she's wonderful.
oh,
I know her.
yeah,
I know quite a few people in here.
yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Well, what?
I'm way up there. Okay. Um,
And
Argentina is
Capistan. The new and Capistan. Oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh. Melanie, the whole world needs to go on general strikes and do economic boycotts. And if that fails, then the only thing left is a revolution because voting our way out of this is not going to happen. Wouldn't it be nice if it did happen and we had the choices we would like?
yeah,
Right.
I know.
An eco-authoritarian government, first world nations are not going to just give up their high energy use. No, it doesn't seem like it. We don't
Well,
see a lot of people, but then, there are some people conserve energy, do as little as possible, like stay home and do things at home. I know a lot of people are
it,
I'm going to see my mother. I'm guilty. I haven't
Naomi
seen
Klein
her.
said, just going to a 4-day work week would help a lot. We just,
Poppy, you're funny. I have some solutions, but they'll probably buy me a couple of only. But I thought you were saying they were going to get you a couple of years. They'll buy you a couple of years. Yeah, I know. But it's not about us, guys. It's about younger people. I mean, it's about the younger people. Not all. I mean, there's a lot of younger people in the chat. It's about them, not me. You know.
here's a revolutionist. Melanie Davis says the whole world needs to go on general strikes and do economic boycotts. And if that fails, then the only thing left is a revolution because voting our way out of this is not going to happen.
I know.
That's the Just Stop Oil campaign is trying.
I
Eco-authoritarian.
think
Oh,
you're a
yeah.
sweetheart, Karen. You know that?
Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming on.
Well, I want to tell everyone that I'm Karen Climate on Instagram, although I don't really know how to use Instagram yet. I tried to
I
make
don't
a
use
post.
it either. I know.
Yeah. But I was told that I need to get on Instagram. And I recently interviewed 200 people about what they thought about climate change.
Hmm.
And,
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and those were adults,
yeah.
including like Air Force aerospace engineers. And anyway, most all of them didn't know key concepts of climate science, but a high schooler did, a sophomore. And I said, how did you learn this? Do you have a great teacher? And he said, I learned it on TikTok. And I said, I got to get on
Oh,
TikTok.
I'm not getting on TikTok, but I've heard
Well, I'm going to
it's
try Instagram
it.
anyway, and I'm on Facebook, so you guys
Yeah,
can find me. And
yeah,
what else? Let's see. I was just wanted to say, oh, and
yeah.
remember that you can study En-ROADS yourself. And you can use it as a tool for talking to anyone. And I'm here to support you too. So if you, uh, want some information, or if you, skepticalscience.com is a great resource for
Tim
finding.
Bob, it's the slippery slope to OnlyFans.
Oh, TikTok is okay.
Tim's a bad boy.
Okay.
Oh, somebody literally made that comment to me, Karen. And they said, "Oh, why don't you do an OnlyFans?" I'm like, "I'm an old lady. I don't know what would I do for an only." I mean, oh God, I guess
No.
what the fetishist old lady, the fetishist.
Oh no.
Oh Lord, Lord, Lord. All right, Fran's got a comment. When I turn my back on 99% of what's for sale in the shops and advise others to do the same, I wonder what jobs would be available for the folks who made the crap. How are they going to eat? How did they used to eat? Well, probably before that crap was made, there was how many people that were, you know, that weren't on the planet.
Um, Maybe we could write in candidates, says astrologer climate witness.
I love him. The fetish
Yes.
community outnumbers doomers, but that's just a coincidence. Oh, yeah,
Are they? But the question is, are they happier?
probably. What are you kidding? I'm sure they're happier. They're getting,
And
you know,
Jessier
they're getting their
Singletary. Jessier
things met.
Singletary says, I want children to have a better education. Mhm.
Where are you, Jesse? Oh, I didn't see Jesse. Hi, Jesse. Okay, I miss Jesse. I'm really sorry. Yeah, hi, Jess. All right, Tommyist, the capitalist tech billionaires would rather see the undeserving masses starve before they would agree to a universal basic income. Well, gosh, we have the worst government. I mean, we have everybody's so selfish. It's me, me, me. We're still in the individualist bullshit, instead of people caring about each other,
That's
unfortunately.
why we need a call to heroism for everyone to step up and be a hero. Hello, says Jessica.
Hello.
Um, and Looney
All
Tunes
right.
says, before leaving, hit the like, share, and subscribe and
Yeah.
become a member.
And that's that. I think we're good. So,
Yeah.
how would you like to? Because we've been quite a while. Uh, I do really want to tell you guys I've appreciated the conversation, the super chats, the support, the friends, the talk. That, Karen's a doll. She's always in our chat. So, this was really good. And we learned a new tool that kids are going to learn. Karen's in the library. She works with children. There are people that need to understand. So come on. We're going to give you a big applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's right. Oh, what
I'm an
does,
adult services librarian, though, so I talk to a lot of adults.
yeah. All right. So
Great place for
say your
adults.
closing. Hi, Fun P. Fun P enjoyed it. Good. I'm glad.
Good. I'm
Say
glad.
your little closing to everybody. We have such a wide variety of people in this chat. I love it. I love
I
it.
love it
I
too.
love it.
I
I
love it
love it.
too.
I love it. I love it.
Ryan Capo says we could do both universal health care and a 4-day work week. Yes, Ryan, let's do it. I'm on board.
Thank
We could
you.
go. Nadia says we could go directly to revolution, but the capitalist class has been preparing for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Oh,
it's going to
Nadia
be
is
a revolution
amazing.
of the grassroots, reaching out and flowering everywhere all at once.
Join our Discord and you will get Nadia isms.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, Karen, you could stick around if you want. We could do a little post mortem. I'm going to
Sure.
figure out what we're doing to shut this down.
Okay.
I
Thank you,
I
everybody,
will.
for being here. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate your participating.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. I completely loved it. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you Friday night with Jim Massa. Jennifer's away. Okay, guys? Oh, we didn't do a flush of the day, Karen. Didn't you want to flush something? We'll just forget it. Good night, everybody.
We were going to flush the power of the conventional energy
Well,
sector.
we still could. I mean, I could make I could
It's
do
okay.
it.
Well,
The conventional energy. Yeah. Goodbye, guys.
yeah, we can take the power back, guys. We can take the
All right.
power back.
All right. Good night. We love you.
We do.
Thank you. No flush toilets. Good night, Scott. Good night, Warren. Good night, Nadia. Join our
So many
Discord.
all these
Write
good
to me.
ideas.
Yeah. They're listening. They can hear us. I put us all out there. Next time your wife asks why you care about the environment so much, just tell her, because I live there, and see the look in her face.
Good job.
Hey, that was good. All right. Good night, Emerald View and Scott, all of you wonderful people. And we will, oh yeah, tomorrow night, left past 10. Thanks, Looney Tunes. I'm on the Letterhacks channel in the panel of progressive lefties, which is fun also. My life is inherently, becoming actually pretty damn good. All right,
Yay.
guys. So I'm going to say good night. Good night. My dogs are gone.
Hello, and thank you for watching my interview with Sandy Schoelles, host of the Environmental Coffeehouse. The Climate Solution Simulator is an interesting tool, and it's free to use online. Also, the training and how to use it is free online. If you're interested, I can tell you it's very fascinating. So one of the questions that came up is, how much confidence can we have that these are, in the results that we're seeing from the simulator? So, so we're looking at, how does the En-ROADS compare to the scenarios from other models? Because there are other models around the world. So there are many global energy, land, climate model scenarios. And the En-ROADS baseline scenario is most comparable to the NGFS current policy scenario, produced by 3 large integrated assessment models and used in the IPCC reports. So a key procedure in testing the simulator involves comparing results with other models, particularly the integrated assessment models, IAMS. Scientists just love acronyms. Used by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, another acronym. IAMS, which is Integrated Assessment Models, and they help scientists and policymakers understand climate change dynamics and the human impact on the climate. So they compare them against standardized scenarios and test assumptions and build confidence that the simulator's results reflect the best understanding of the scientific literature. So we can read the En-ROAD Simulator Science page to understand more about confidence building and testing. But basically, they test results against other models and see if they're coming up with similar results. And that helps to see that things, we're checking each other to make sure things are accurate. It's really important to know what are the high leverage activities that we could put our resources toward. So for instance, some of the most popular activities, such as planting trees or stopping deforestation, those are all good and very necessary and definitely have many multi-solving effects. In other words, you solve for this and then you solve other problems when you solve for this. And co-benefits. Co-benefits are things that aren't in the simulator. Things like, people's public health improving when there's more trees in their city, or, it helps to shade the city when you have more trees. It helps to mitigate that heat island effect of cities. So those are co-benefits. And those are really important too. But so what was I going to say? I forgot. We build confidence in the model by comparing it to other models. And it's really important to know what are the high leverage activities. So for instance, that's what I was saying. So planting trees or stopping deforestation, those are both really important to do. But there are other activities which, if they aren't done, then the tree planting won't have as big an effect or an effective mitigation of the heat that's occurring from emissions. So as we know, and as the simulator shows over and over, really, the most high leverage activities are things that keep coal, oil, and gas in the ground and undeveloped. We need to put them in the ground and leave them alone and develop other sources, other ways to conduct our civilization. And that's our big challenge at this time in history. So the Climate Solution Simulator, you can look up climateinteractive.org, climateinteractive.org, and you can see the confidence building. You can investigate for yourself the assumptions behind it. You can change the assumptions and see what results you get. It's all open and transparent. It's one of the models that's made for the public, for people to have interaction with, and made easy for that. So have fun with it, and let me know what you think. Thank you again, and I'll see you at the next Climate Agents of Change.